liar. Kirk Cousins, he's going to be a Minnesota Viking. This was the right call.
Cousins, pressure, hit as he throws, going for Thielen. He's got it! Touchdown! Oh my Diggs! Stay up! Oh my God! 30! No way! Touchdown! It's a Minneapolis Miracle!
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. We're a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Subscribe to us on the Apple Podcast app. You can get us on Spotify, basically anywhere that you get podcasts. We will be available there. We're also on Twitter at Bleeding Podcast. My name is Tyler Haag. I'm joined as always by Mr. Adam Patrick. How are you feeling after a big win, Adam?
I'm feeling good. Before we start, what's the temperature in Minnesota today?
Like in the maybe 50. It's like 49. Here's the problem: rainy, windy, and cold.
Ooh. It right now at 4:43 Pacific time is 88 degrees out here.
88 degrees. Yep. 50 here.
90
is what it
supposed
says.
to be 96 tomorrow.
50 degrees and cloudy. We got 90% chance of rain, 90% chance of rain. That's awful. I wish I wouldn't have read this with you. This is the worst forecast ever.
Well, the Vikings won.
88 and sunny. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Kirk Cousins was good. Whatever. Winter's coming, Adam. It's going to be great.
Hey,
yeah.
better if they're winning.
That's true. So the Vikings win. And not only do they win, they look pretty darn good doing it. Again, what was the final score? It was 42, I believe, to 30. Is that wrong?
Good.
Am I right
Yep.
there?
You got
42-30. Kirk Cousins finishes with 330-some yards passing. He has...
7, I think?
I think you're right. I have it right here. I just had it pulled up. He winds up finishing with, I believe, 4 touchdowns. Can confirm in a second here.
Should have been 5.
Should have been 5. We'll get into that in just a second.
Hey.
Yeah, man, they looked good. There's an argument to be made. I don't want to be a downer right out of the gate, but I'm going to be a downer right out of the gate. There's an argument to be made for the teams that they're playing right now, the last 3 games, or they've looked so good over the last 3 games. Those teams are maybe not very good, or maybe specifically their passing defense is not very good. However, I think the most encouraging thing about these games is not the statistics that Kirk Cousins is putting up, which are great. It's the play calling. It's the situations he's finding himself in. It's, do you agree with that? Do you think, the stats are nice, but are you more encouraged by those statistics or the overall play of this team?
Oh, for sure. I think we talked about it last week, how the competition, you shouldn't really look at the competition. You should just look more at what they're doing. That play call was 2nd and 6 in the fourth quarter with time running down. And, typically they probably would have just, tried to run the ball, run the clock down. But, Stefanski and Zimmer took a risk and chucked that ball down the field to Diggs and ended up, he ended up almost scoring a touchdown. So stuff like that we didn't really see, even in for their first 2 wins, that kind of play calling didn't really seem to be there. There's definitely a lot more play action. Kirk Cousins is definitely, I think I looked it up today and saw that I think in his first 4 games he had like 24 passes that were over 24 pass attempts that were over 10 yards in the first 4 games, and then in these past 3 games he's had like 35 or 36. So, they're getting the pass game involved more early. They're figuring out that Cousins, like a 3-point shooter in basketball. You got to get him in rhythm. You got to, get his arm loose, let him get him in the flow of the game. So that, like, when it comes down to those plays in the fourth quarter, when it's 2nd and 6 or whatever, and you want him to make a play like that downfield to Diggs, he can make that play, and he won't, get flustered or throw a pass off the mark. He can make those throws, and he's been doing that. The Lions secondary is better than what he's seen the past 2 weeks against the Giants and Eagles. Those two are garbage. But it was on the road. I feel like there was pressure on Cousins to go out there and perform like he has in the past couple of weeks, because the Lions they're a better opponent than the last 2 weeks. My son agrees.
Yes, he does. Loves the performance.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The last 2 weeks, the Lions are definitely better than those two teams. I wonder if, I think you kind of hit on it. The play calling is that play call in the fourth quarter. I don't think they call that play in the first 2 weeks. I don't think there's enough confidence in what they're doing to even dial that up. So that to me is a really, really encouraging sign. I think the big question is still the big question, and I think, can Kirk Cousins win the game that, like, the big game, the game they have to have him perform well in? I think that still is out there. I still think we don't know that. But the way this play calling is going and the positions that they're putting him in and the way that they're taking advantage of these shortcomings on the opposing defenses leads me to believe that he's got a better chance to do that when they have to do that. I'm more encouraged that way.
You nailed it. They're putting him in a position to succeed. They weren't, when he was struggling last year and when he was struggling earlier in the year, they weren't doing that. They were, putting him in situations that he's not comfortable in. He's not comfortable dropping back and just hanging out in the pocket and waiting for receivers, their routes to develop downfield. He's a guy who needs, he needs to either have a quick pass, in front of him, or crossing around in front of him, or quick out or whatever, or he needs to roll out and do some play action. He's not a guy who's just going to sit in the pocket and just survey the field and just wait for someone to get open. He's not that kind of guy. That's when he gets scared and skittish and makes decisions and gets sacked and fumbled. So
and those situations present themselves when they don't, when they are down, when they're forced to pass, obvious passing situations. They have no option. They kind of have to. I've noticed in the last 3 games, they're still every now and then giving him normal dropbacks, but it's in weird not dropback situations. So they're not, running uphill at him. And that to me is, the most encouraging part of the whole thing. But it's like we talked about it. We've talked about it literally for years now. It's so stupid to try and get players to do things that they're not good at. And I think that we saw that for the majority of last season with Kirk Cousins, where they were just not putting him in positions that were going to be advantageous for him, or rather like easier for him to do his job. And I think this game is the best example where Stefanski consistently, time after time after time in this game, gave him an opportunity to look at what he needed to look at. And that Thielen was, throw. That's a great throw. That's like Sage Rosenfels on the Score North today. That's the backside post on that. That's like the last thing that you're reading as a quarterback. And he had enough time to look at all of that, see what was going on.
He's had his feet and everything too.
Yeah, and then make a great throw. And that's not an easy throw to make. But that's Kirk Cousins can do that. I think that to me, we'll have to see when they play a good defense. There's a lot of things that go into him feeling comfortable. Obviously, if the offensive line doesn't perform well, that is going to be an issue for Kirk. And they have, over the last 3 games, been playing very, very well. I would like to discuss that for a hot minute here. We were noticing in previous weeks that Bradbury, Elflein, to maybe, I don't want to say to a lesser extent, but there are some struggles happening in the interior of the offensive line. And whether it's scheme, whether it's actual performance has been improved by those guys, because they are young after all. They are allowed to improve as young players. That group has been much tighter. What was Kirk Cousins finished with? He was pressured once, I believe, in this Lions game. That's something obscene.
That's what Next Gen Stats, NFL.com was reporting. But I don't know, according to PFF or whatever sports radars come out with yet. Usually that stuff comes out a day or two after the game, so I don't know the official numbers, but he wasn't pressured a lot. Like, and that has to do a lot with them running play action and getting out of the pocket.
Putting the defense on their heels, man.
Yeah, they still have the receivers running some deep routes, but I think on these deep routes they're having Kirk Cousins run play action or roll out, so he's taking more time so that the receivers can run the routes instead of him just dropping back and waiting. He's doing something while they're also doing something. So by the time he finishes rolling out or whatever, their route is done and they're open. He can just chuck it. He doesn't have to worry about like, oh, are they open? He's just gonna throw it. So stuff like that has just made a big difference in his performance in the past 3 weeks. And there's a lot of quiet people out there. After yesterday,
a lot of Kirk haters that are quiet.
I saw Mike Florio praising Kirk Cousins today. I don't think I ever thought I would see that because he's a big Case Keenum fan.
Actually heard out loud today on like the radio, national radio. Kirk Cousins has been the best quarterback in the NFL over the last 3 weeks, and I almost drove right off the road. And it's not wrong, but just to hear that is like so insane because it was not 28 days ago, whenever the Diggs thing, where like it was about to fall apart. Adam, do you remember?
Yeah, and then there's the people too that are always like, well, let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see. When he faces tougher competition. I'm like, no, let's not wait and see. Let's get excited about, him having these performances when, he's expected to. And people are like, well, he's supposed to. That's what he was brought here for. I'm like, no. He's playing well. He was brought here to be maybe like a step above Case Keenum, nail some of those throws that Keenum wasn't able to do. And he's doing that now. Yes. Because the offense that they're running seems very, very similar now. The one that they've been running the past 3 weeks seems a lot similar to what they were doing in 2017 with Keenum.
Yep.
Yeah, where they were having him roll out and stuff and get out of the pocket and then,
maybe less screens than that offense, but not by a lot.
They ran the ball. They ran the ball a lot, but it wasn't like the thing with this offense the past 3 weeks. You don't know what they're going to do when they get to line of scrimmage. You don't know if it's going to be a pass, and you don't know if it's going to be a run. That's the best thing about this offense. The defense doesn't know what they're running.
And the ball snapped, and it looks the same.
Yeah. Last year, you're pretty sure the Vikings were going to pass pretty much any time they're on the field. And then, previous years when they had Adrian Peterson on the field, they're going to run on first and second down. Mm-hmm. So that's probably the best part about this offense the past 3 weeks is the defense is just they don't know what the Vikings are running.
And then at that point for the defense, you basically are having to choose who do we want to try and stop the most. Yeah. And when you are on your heels like that as a defense, you're donezo. And this is what winds up happening is you can't stop anybody. And it winds up being 337 yards for Kirk Cousins. And then Dalvin Cook finishes with 142 yards.
Quietly had 140 yards rushing.
I was just going to say, think about that. Quietly almost 200. Yeah. It's really impressive. And the thing that Dalvin Cook is kind of, or let me phrase it this way. We're maybe overlooking the fact that in all of this, Dalvin Cook's workload in those first 3 weeks was a scary amount. That was like, he's going to get hurt again, usage.
Yeah.
That's kind of gone now, but his production has essentially stayed the same.
He gets the ball a lot.
100%, but it's not. It doesn't seem like he's grinding. It doesn't seem like he's getting just beat on like down after down after down. It's like he's getting the ball in space more often. If that makes sense.
And they seem to give him a good amount of rest too with Madison in there. They'll give
a great point.
Cook like 2 or 3 series, and then they'll throw Madison in there and give him a breather. And doesn't seem like anything. Like there's no regression really from Cook to Madison. Obviously, Cook's a better player right now than Madison is, but it doesn't really seem like the Vikings lose a whole lot of production when they, need to give Cook a break or anything, and that's
very well
pretty
put.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely, and that you can't. Yeah, that's to me that points to putting your players in positions that positions that are going to allow them to succeed consistently, which is all you can ask for.
He's just so good. He had that run yesterday where it looked like he was going to lose like 3 yards and he was going to be tackled in the backfield, and he just broke away and ran for like 10 yards. It's like we've been watching him for like 2 seasons. Well, no, we shouldn't say 2 seasons because he's missed a lot of time. But I still almost every game he turns a corner on the defense, and I'm like, oh my God, he's so fast. Like, it's like shocking how his acceleration at times in these games is just unbelievable. Yeah, he's something else, man. And this is, I think, the Vikings. Part of what made Vikings fans so angry earlier on in the season was that we could see these weapons and we knew that that's so much talent that we wanted this type of production. Do we need to expect 42 points every week? I don't think that's fair. But boy, oh boy, do they have a lot of weapons, and you should be able to score points with that. Yeah, I looked some stuff up. I was writing about Dalvin Cook last night and looked up. He's at 110 yards in, I think, 110 rushing yards in 5 of his first 7 games. He's like the 12th running back in NFL history to do that. Some of the other guys who have done that are O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, like Hall of Famers. Like 7 of the guys, 7 of the 12 players that have done it are in the Hall of Fame. So it's pretty impressive what he's done so far. I think like Terrell Davis did it too. So he's very good. Yeah,
he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good. He's one of those guys. I don't really like when people do like the eye test or he looks, but Dalvin Cook, when he plays football, just looks different than other people. He's like got that next level. Percy Harvin, I think, was maybe the last guy that kind of had that, like, wow, when he gets like he's on a different level from these other people. Adrian Peterson was good, but he didn't have that. But Dalvin Cook has it.
He got the ball.
Yeah.
Peterson was like maybe every five plays, because he was that famine feast. That's what he likes to say, or whatever.
He would grind you down too a little bit. Like, where he was kind of mean about it.
Yeah, it feels like Cook just feasts the whole game. There's no famine.
Yeah. It's just constant.
He's just an obese guy out on the field, just feasting.
Yeah, man, a lot of good this week.
He is a chef.
Finish it off. The last thing I want to talk about, we talked a little bit about Diggs, but not too much. But Diggs also looked very, very, very good. Had one drop. But, I mean, we can forgive him because he played pretty well the rest of the game.
Yeah, he fumbled.
That's right. He did fumble, too. That sucks. We're not talking about the bad stuff right now, Adam. This is still the good portion.
Okay.
So that was good.
No. He had a good game. He kind of had to, though, because Thielen went out. So
he did, yes.
He had to step up, and the Lions still couldn't stop him. So
yeah. All right. Enough with the good stuff. Last thing was gonna be tight ends, but we can talk about that on another day because Kyle Rudolph, holy smokes, he still plays.
He's alive.
Catches passes sometimes. We almost forgot, but it's true. He's there. Irv Smith.
Nice. Irv Smith looks good.
Kind of forget that he's only played a handful of games in the NFL so far. He's going to be
probably not going to be around next year.
Yeah, he's going to be really, really, really good in the next couple of years. That'll do it for the good stuff. I'm done talking about good. We got a lot of, I don't want to say bad, but we got the bad section to go. We got some stuff we got to talk about there injury-wise. Following a team you love in 2019 can be time-consuming, and trying to follow everything that's happening in sports is nearly impossible. Strolling through every app and visiting every website on a daily basis, it just doesn't work. That is why I subscribe to Axios Sports. It's the best free daily newsletter in the land. Axios Sports is a modern sports page. It's delivered directly to your email box. You can sign up for free at sports.axios.com. You can pick whatever you want, NBA stuff, NFL stuff, ping pong, cricket, soccer, whatever you want. You just decide what's in there. You tell them what to tell you about, and then every day they send you an email newsletter with all the stuff that you want on it. It's super simple to sign up, and it's free. Sports.axios.com. And if you go right now, it's free. Join the 100,000 sports fans who get caught up on the day before it even begins. And best of all, no paywall, no subscription fee, no nothing. Sports.axios.com. Let's start with, you just mentioned it, Adam Thielen. catches a touchdown pass, runs into the wall.
Yeah.
Wall has nothing to do with it, evidently, because I thought he broke his hand first.
I thought he hurt his hand, too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he broke his wrist. It's horrible. And then it wasn't. And then it was an ankle. And then it wasn't. And then it was his hamstring. And did you see him getting out of the injury tent? He was like grimacing, and I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, but he was
all
walking,
it is.
Though, so
all it is a hammy, which we know they can be a bummer. We know they can be a problem.
Yeah, right now, yeah. All it is, yeah. He said he could have gone back in the game, or he was trying to get back in the game. But the Vikings are smart, and they're like, no.
And they
we're fine.
BC
Johnson did, he did really good.
Oh yeah, we should have put him in the good pile too.
Yeah,
BC
he did great.
Well done.
They found a third receiver finally.
Seventh round.
But Thielen, I think he had a MRI today, and Tom Pelissero reported that he's not expected to play on Thursday against the Redskins, which he shouldn't anyways, because the Vikings are favored by 16 points. But he also Pelissero also reported that the injury is not believed to be too serious, not keep him out for a while. So Thielen returning in Week 9 against the Chiefs seems pretty likely. But at the same time, I think the Vikings should still be cautious because it's a hamstring injury. We saw this with Dalvin Cook last year. They tried to rush him back. They ended up missing way more time than he probably should have. And the Vikings showed they can be productive without Thielen out on the field, but obviously you still want to have one of the best receivers in the NFL on the field for you. So they just have to be cautious. It's not a broken bone where it's going to heal in a certain amount of time. It's a soft tissue injury where 2 to 3 weeks is probably the ideal recovery time for this, depending on how severe it is. I'm no Twitter doctor, but
I'm glad you're not. Because those guys are all questionable, sketchy dudes, anyways. I think
Xavier Rhodes still lost his leg last year, right? That's right.
Yeah. Factual information, if you ask Twitter doctors. The Thielen thing, I think they kind of lucked out, honestly, because this is about the best week that it could have happened with a short week and then extra time to get ready. And so, I'm sure he will be back. Not
a lot of people
obviously
were
this
saying
Thursday, but next week.
That it's unlucky because they have a game that's so close, and then you're like, oh wait, they're playing the Redskins. But you never know. There could be some extra motivation on Thursday for a couple of people on the Redskins sideline.
If Kurt doesn't throw for 500 yards, kick him off the team, trade him immediately.
Right?
Yeah, it's going to be that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. It's been pretty tame so far, but we're also kind of riding the wave of how good they looked. So I'm sure that'll come a little bit later in the week. The Kirk Cousins in prime time. But I think they got lucky. It sucks that he has to miss a game, but he's missing a game either way with a hamstring. So it works out well that it's against Washington.
I don't care if he's like, I'm optimistic and I want to play, and it's like, no, you should sit out.
Yeah, you definitely should play.
It's week 8. The Vikings have a good record. They're in a good position to, fight for a playoff spot. You don't need to rush you back and have you miss way more games than you should.
True story. Question for you. Rando question.
Yeah.
If this isn't Kirk Cousins' former team, do you think that this qualifies as a trap game? Bad team coming off a big win, and you're about to go play a pretty decent team. I mean, the Mahomes thing kind of changes stuff, but
if it was away, I would worried about it. But it's in US Bank Stadium, so that makes it a lot easier to feel good about it. Can I see the Redskins beating the Vikings? Of course, I'm a Vikings fan.
100%.
You can never rule out the unimaginable when it comes to the Vikings. But I would be very surprised if they lost.
Me too. It just sucks to go. We're feeling so good, and then we remind ourselves, it's like, we're the Vikings. It's
going to be one of those games where like the Redskins score first, will score like a touchdown, and people are going to be like, oh no, here we go, and then it'll be like 37-7. Like,
we didn't mention this, but another encouraging sign from that game was that they came back. They were down, and they came back and took the lead, and
Detroit?
No, the Vikings were.
Yeah. They're around 7-0, right?
Either way, it was a. It was not an insurmountable lead, but it was a lead that they overcame.
They responded right away.
After, we haven't seen much.
Marvin
of that
Jones
season.
caught one of his 19 touchdowns.
Also, Marvin
Vikings.
Jones, good golly, he is good at football. Do you think? Well, let's get back to the. Let's talk about that. Back to the bad pile. Cornerbacks, not so awesome. Yesterday. Do you think that was him being really good at football, or the secondary having a really bad day? Because I was impressed by Mr. Jones.
Did he have any? He didn't have any deep touchdowns. They're all like he was in the end zone already when he caught them. So it was like they're all like jump balls.
I don't know. All the guys that usually tackle people just kept falling off, dude. So I feel like he was doing pretty well. But is that
everyone? I know everyone thinks Trey Waynes is having an amazing year, but I'm definitely not one of those people. And he pretty much gave up on that first touchdown. So then I saw a lot of people complaining about Trey Waynes on Twitter after that first touchdown, and I was like, I might have posted a GIF of somebody sipping tea after that.
Did you see that interception though? Toe tappy. That was pretty cool.
That seems like a Mitchell Trubisky garbage time touchdown to me.
Yes, it does. That's a great comparison. Actually, that's a garbage time. Yeah, time touchdown. Pad in the stands.
I didn't care about that at all. But I did see that Xavier Rhodes. It looked like he had a bad day. On paper, but those 2 touchdowns that he gave up were the only 2 catches he gave up all day.
And he was right bleeping there for both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the other thing I'm starting to wonder, especially about the secondary. Are we spoiled that they have just been breaking everything up and been like super elite for like a number of years, that now that they're kind of regressing into normal defensive back stuff again, we're like, what in the hell is this? Rhodes is garbage. And it's like, no, he's not garbage. He's just not the top 2 corner in the league anymore.
Yeah, I think you have to take into account the penalties that are being called this year, too. I feel like there's more of an emphasis put on pass interference.
That's a great point.
Holding by defensive backs.
We've done a pretty good job of not doing the ref stuff, the officiating conversations.
Yeah, we don't like to. It's not like the Lions. Oh, my God. Yesterday.
It's ruining the game.
Every call against the Lions, the fans are booing. I'm like, some of these are legit, guys. Like, you can't just boo the refs for doing their job.
We all get that you got screwed. We get that you've been screwed a couple of times. Not every one of these is screwing you. I'm sorry.
Sometimes your team is just not good, and they commit penalties. So
sometimes you
don't
break
blame
the
refs.
rules. It's okay.
Blame your team. But yeah, well, the Vikings their corners are typically they're physical. They like to be physical and like to put their hands on guys, and I think they've still been doing that this year, and it's just being called more. So that's gonna make them look probably worse than they really are. Maybe in past years they wouldn't have been called for those and be like, oh, they're so good. You haven't let them hit a pass, but now getting those calls. But at the same time, they could be better.
I agree with that. There are opportunities. I think the Rhodes 2 catches given up are a great example of
those could go either way.
Literally an inch away from making the play, where he's supposed to be, doing everything, but they make the play and he doesn't. I mean, that's so close to being not an issue.
I think the one thing that bothers me, and this has bothered me, I feel like for Trey Waynes and some other Vikings cornerbacks, is like when it's 3rd and 1 and they're like 7 or 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, you know where the first down marker is, right?
See, and it's like, I get that he doesn't want to get burnt deep, but at the same time, it's like, Bob,
But he's fast.
He is. And you would think that those guys would have the confidence to be able to do that or to be able to want to do that. But it doesn't seem like either they're being coached not to or they don't want to.
Yeah, and even Xavier Rhodes, sorry. He's supposed to be known as like a physical guy. You would think that someone like him would want to be like up on the line of scrimmage, getting his hands in guys' faces. But, at the same time, we don't know what Zimmer's telling them to do. If he's just like going this way this year, like, okay, they're probably going to call those. So just lay back and try and get the tackle. Because it seems like this year they're just trying to make sure they don't get beat deep, because I don't think they've really given up hardly any deep balls. They're just trying to let everything be in front of them and make the tackle. That's really what it feels like.
It does.
And then hope for the quarterback to like make a mistake and throw a pick or somebody fumble or something like that.
That's what it feels. It feels like they're disguising their coverage in hopes that he makes the wrong read and they can take advantage of it. But the goal is to keep everybody in front of you no matter what.
I don't know if I like that. Like,
I mean, it's worked out
their
so
defense
far.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
no, I think that's something worth talking about, though, because this defense and this whole stretch, that's a game that if they don't score 42 points, they lose, and that's...
Yeah, the defense played bad yesterday.
Yeah, that's something that...
In the first half. In the second half, they did much better.
I would agree with that. And I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged for this team going forward, because if I'm not mistaken, I think the offense is like more productive, like in like a yards per play kind of a situation, like some high-end analytics, if you get down with that kind of a thing.
Yeah, me and John Harbaugh.
That can't last or shouldn't last for this team because of how they're built, right? And so you would expect the defense to step up, but I don't know.
But the way the offense is playing, it doesn't seem to matter. But
that's what I was going to say. Do you think that the offense can consistently perform? I mean, they're not going to score 42 points, but if you can score over 30, you should win the vast majority of your games.
I feel like on the road, though, the defense is usually not that great. They've never really been a good road defense. They gave
that's
up
a good point.
20. They gave up those 21 points early in the Packers game.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some bad performances on their road before. They're just a different defense outside of US Bank Stadium, which is understandable because they get the crowd noise and stuff in there, and it's an advantage.
Got the defense for
got the acoustics in there to make it even louder. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, maybe that's something, because we're always so quick to, in the sports world, we're always so quick to, Aaron Rodgers is washed, or the New England Patriots are done finally. Like, are we doing that with the defense right now, or is it maybe they're regressing a little, but the real situation is they're on the road versus at home stuff.
Yeah, what is it this week? Rodgers he's the greatest quarterback in the league again, right?
Well, he's perfect. He was perfect.
6 touchdowns against the Raiders on Sunday, who the Vikings destroyed as well.
Everybody's destroying, by the way.
Not the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears are in rough shape right now. Good. I'm not saying I feel bad for them. That sounded like I was defending the Bears. I didn't mean for that to happen.
They fought long, hard. Make sure Mitchell Trubisky get back on the field, recover from that injury.
He sure did. He looked awesome, right?
Right, he did. It was great.
Poor kid looked like he was going to cry at times in that game. I felt kind of bad for him. I have too much empathy for opposing teams. Last bad thing I want to talk about for a hot minute here. I don't want to spend very much time on it because it makes me sad, because you jinxed it, bro. Dan Bailey misses a field goal. I blame you. You're always throwing around these willy-nilly. I'm worried about it, Adam. And I don't like that you're not giving it the proper gravity. It might have been. I don't feel like it was all his fault. But he honestly has been good. And I'll take this. As a Vikings fan, he's due for one. This one didn't matter. Miss away, Dan Bailey. Make the ones we need you to make. We're good to go.
And that came right after someone's drop in the end zone, did it not?
It did.
I believe it did. So
I believe you're correct.
Who should we be more mad at?
I'm still more mad at Dan Bailey, but that's just me, because I have a history.
That's your own personal vendetta.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that has nothing really to do with Dan Bailey. That's something else altogether. Indochino was founded on the belief that you don't need to spend a fortune to get a custom wardrobe. You've seen it, I've seen it. Guys in suits, they look good. Some suits, not so much. These suits, custom fitted suits. You look sharp, you act sharp, you behave sharp. It's all good. It's all good. And you can get this from Indochino. Indochino is the world's largest made-to-measure menswear brand. They do suits, shirts, coats. Everything is made to your exact measurements for a great fit. And the best part is they're affordable. Almost all of their custom clothing is under $400. $99. Start your style upgrade now with $30 off your total purchase of $399 or more at Indochino.com when entering Blue Wire at checkout. Shipping is free. That's Indochino.com. Promo code Blue Wire for $30 off your total purchase of $399 or more. An incredible deal for made-to-measure clothing. You have no excuse to wear clothes that don't fit. Go to Indochino.com. Okay, enough with the bad stuff. Do you have anything else you want to mention? Bad things?
Just the defense giving up. They gave up a lot of yards. A lot of passing yards to Matt Stafford. I don't know if it has to do more with Stafford, seeing the Vikings a lot in his career, seeing Zimmer's defense, knowing what to expect. But they didn't have that hard of a time scoring on them in the first half, at least.
No, and Stafford left some points on the board. There was a throw in the first half that he skipped to tight end that would have been a touchdown.
Oh, at the bottom of his feet, yeah.
Yeah, concerning. It's concerning. Moving on to... There's a guy.
Zimmer Zimmer probably had a very quiet speech at the half, so he didn't have anything to say. They definitely didn't show video of him after that first touchdown screaming at the entire defense.
Yeah, or walking back and forth while they're all sitting.
So the Fox guys in the booth were like, "Hey, you probably shut the sideline mics off.
Turn the mic off. Yeah. Moving on to the last portion, the interesting section. We kind of have touched on a lot of these. Mitch Trubisky, not good at football. The Packers are a lot better than the Raiders. Not all that surprising.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is perfect, not washed.
They're 6-1, but are they good?
I don't think so.
I don't think they are.
And they have done a very... I don't want to say this. They have tried to give away so many of their wins that I don't have a lot of confidence in them. They're scary because their defense is better. So I get the national media and people like that acknowledging, ranking them higher than the Vikings in the power rankings or whatever. But yeah, I am still not convinced. The same way I was not convinced about the Bears too.
Yeah, that game yesterday against the Raiders, that actually should have been a lot closer than it was, because the Raiders, I think they went to the goal line like 3 times in that game and didn't come away with any points. So
because Derek Carr was doing the all fumble out of the back
fumble
of the end zone thing.
And then there was some other stuff that happened where it should have been closer. So I wouldn't look at the score and be like, oh, Packers destroyed them, because I think. I don't know. I did 6-1. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're the best team in the NFC," and I'm like, the Saints right now.
I put the Saints above them.
I put them number 1. I put the Seahawks number 2, even though they lost. I'd put the Vikings ahead of the Packers.
On the fence about Seattle.
This is not just because of a Vikings podcast. I haven't been impressed with anything I've seen from the Packers.
I totally understand why people would pick the Packers over the Vikings. Better. Yes, because their defense is better. And if you're looking at those two teams, you see Kirk Cousins, you see Aaron Rodgers, you go Aaron Rodgers every time. I get that. But
Aaron Rodgers hasn't even been that good.
That's what I'm saying. And if you look at the full season, full scope, take the names away, not that great on the one side,
who's leading the league
good on the other.
And passer rating right now. Oh, that would be Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. I mean, I feel like I'm saying it because it's a Vikings podcast, but I think I would maybe put them above the Packers. And it's the Packers. I hate Wisconsin. It's all. So take that for what it's worth, I guess.
The Rams. Oh, I forgot about the 49ers. I don't know if they're that good. Who have they played?
I've been telling you for weeks, bub. I'm telling you, there's not I think the Saints are really good, and then I think it's everybody is in the mix. I don't think the Packers are very.
Screw you, Teddy, for being so good, and Latavius Murray yesterday.
I know.
But thanks for beating the Bears. But still, why do you help the Saints out?
Teddy, golly,
5-0.
5-0.
All that kid does is win.
All he does is win, and then every time he wins, I just got to hear about how awesome of a person he is and how jealous I am that he is playing for a different team.
Should they keep him in? When Brees comes back?
No.
Should they do that? No?
Yes, and then we will take Drew Brees for the however many years he wants to play. And sorry, Kirk, we'll see you later. Great job.
I think Drew Brees has like a $49 million cap hit or something next year, something crazy like that.
Wowzers!
So
I dig it.
This might be his last year with the Saints. Teddy might be taking over next year.
Oh, dude. That would be the most Vikings thing ever for Teddy Bridgewater to be like the Saints quarterback for a decade and just rip the hearts out of Vikings fans forever.
Yeah, if he's still the quarterback in the playoffs, he's definitely beating the Vikings.
Oh, man.
For sure.
That will be ugly. I'm not interested in that. Other interesting stuff. Good on you, Teddy, by the way. We're obviously rooting for you.
He's making people root for the Saints. Like, that's how nice of a person he is. He's making us root for a team that tried to literally kill the Vikings quarterback.
I know. Yeah. And I was watching the game. Yelling, go Teddy. What else? Pat Mahomes injured. Did you see his kneecap get put back in place on the internet? I sure did.
I saw something, but I don't think I saw the right video because everyone was freaking out about it. I'm like, I don't think this is that bad, but I must have seen the wrong video.
It's pretty
This
gross.
is just like a shoulder being popped back in.
Kinda. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. And it's weird though because you can see what it is in that it's like bagoink. Yeah, and that part's goofy. And the thing that got me was he straightens up after they do it. Like they put it back in, you can tell he was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it felt really good. It probably felt worse to get it popped back in than it did to dislocate it.
You're probably right, honestly. Probably right.
I think that's how it goes with the shoulder, too. But he's not expected to play against the Vikings. They might have caught a big break. Big break. I was feeling pretty decent about the Vikings going into Kansas City with Mahomes because they haven't been playing too great.
That is true.
Couple weeks.
That is true.
And now that he's gone, I feel pretty good.
Here's the problem. He's definitely playing, and it's going to be the biggest. You already said that. It's going to be the biggest story in the country, and there's going to be a cajillion cameras and media folks kicking around, and Kirk is going to not handle that well.
Yeah, but the Vikings got a pretty good pass rush.
That's true.
And he's not going to be able to run around if his knee's not working too well.
Nah, dude, he's gonna come back. I'm a Vikings fan.
Yeah, but I tweeted this already.
He's gonna come back. It's gonna be a triumphant return. He's gonna throw for 500 yards. He's gonna run for 120 yards. He's gonna be responsible for 9 touchdowns, and the Vikings are just gonna be shaking their heads.
It's gonna be 21-0 after like their first drive.
For real, yes.
How good he is. So.
He's not good.
He doesn't even need to move around. Really, he just like flicks his wrist. He's got like a Michael Vick kind of.
Seriously, you could sit down in a chair and throw a ball 70 yards. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I don't know. I still think it would be a good game even if he was playing, because that's just the way. Because their defense is terrible.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins shouldn't. He should. The way he's playing, he should be able to light them up, I guess.
As a Vikings fan, you don't want anybody to get injured. You don't root for that. But if he can't play, that works out better for my favorite team. So that is okay. I do
see the people, though, that want him to play.
Yeah, see, and that's where...
They want it to be a test.
That's where I'm at, is...
I don't.
You don't... See, I'm not saying I want him to play, but as a football fan, I want to see him play. I want to see how this defense plays against him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but we've seen in the past how much one win can make a difference in making the playoffs or not.
It's true.
You should not want the other team to have a better shot at getting a win. Even if you want to see.
Do you really think the MVP of the league Vikings does that, though?
Yeah. You can,
gives him a better shot.
Even if you want to see, like, how the Vikings do against tough competition. They've got a game against the Seahawks on Monday night. We can wait until then to find out.
They're all professional athletes, Adam. There's a lot of competition that we don't need Pat Mahomes.
They're playing the Cowboys on the road the very next game. They'll be able to test themselves against them too. So we don't have to
That'll be more than
help out their opponents any more than they need.
Oh, I agree. I like watching him play, but I'd rather not watch him.
I've just seen that a lot. Like, I wish he was playing. I'm like, no, you don't.
To me, it's one of the more interesting questions because you don't want to root for injury and you want to play the best. Some people say, but yeah,
he's fun to watch.
100%. But and I think if you're a fan of the Vikings, to not acknowledge that him not playing helps us you're lying to yourself. Yeah. I think that's right. Do you have anything else that you would like to mention? The Vikings are favored by 16 points. I did
see that even though it's before tonight's Monday night game, the Jets and the Patriots should be a great game.
Oh, bloodbath.
I really hope the Jets win. That's not going to happen though. But I did see that Alexander Madison has more rushing yards than Le'Veon Bell this year.
Wow. So, that's interesting.
How good Alexander Madison is, or how bad Le'Veon Bell has been?
Or how bad the Jets are? All of the above, maybe. All of the above, I think, might.
Madison's been good.
No, he has been really good. I've been impressed by him.
If Cook goes down, I don't want to say it, but if he has to miss time or anything.
God, it's like we don't complete an episode without me having to knock on a wooden table because you're jinxing somebody again, Adam.
No, it's the John Gruden thing, right?
Yeah.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
If you're with me.
But yeah, no, Madison's look good. He's a good backup, good change of pace kind of running back, physical. Dalvin Cook's physical too. You never realize like how physical he is until you forget every game, and then you watch him just run people over, and you're like, oh yeah, he can do that.
Well, see, I think I don't want to call it the problem, but you get used to seeing him run around and pass, and he's so shifty and speedy that you kind of forget that he also always falls forward. He's always dropping the hammer on somebody as he's about to get tackled. He's really good. Real quick before we go.
He had 96 yards after contact yesterday. It's pretty good.
Yeah, real good. Wow, that's a stat and a half there.
More than most people had at all yesterday.
Yeah. I keep forgetting this thing. CJ Ham. We didn't mention CJ Ham in the good stuff. Before we would be remiss if we didn't mention how well CJ Ham played and how important he was to not only what they were doing from a blocking standpoint, but also from they gave him the ball a fair amount. Yeah, and it was in a read option kind of a setting where it was if you're not going to acknowledge him, we'll give it to CJ Ham and he'll get 10 yards. If you're not going to guard him, we'll throw it to him for a touchdown. That, to me, very encouraging that CJ Ham.
Yeah, CJ Ham had a touchdown. Kyle Rudolph had a touchdown. BC Johnson had a touchdown.
Things were... It was good, Adam.
That was the thing with Thielen being out yesterday. I think it was good for Kirk Cousins to realize that, there's more... He can trust other guys on the offense. Because he mixed it up a lot yesterday. He threw to Irv Smith, he threw to Diggs, Johnson, Rudolph. He threw it all over the place. And
I think that's good for him.
Maybe he might. I think he might have had a target. But he might have caught a pass. But it was just good. It was good. Sometimes guys going out is a good way for you to figure out other ways to run your offense, and they did a really good job yesterday.
They definitely did. All right, man. I will talk to you.
Yeah,
Are we still going to do Wednesday right before
we'll do that.
The game. Perfect.
We'll post it on Thursday morning right before the game, so you guys can get your preview in before the game on Thursday. And then let's have a couple of days off for Monday. Maybe we might do something maybe before Monday.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe just a quick thing on Friday or something. Saturday maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows? We'll see. We got time. We'll see how much it's raining.
Yeah.
If it gets, we're not doing anything if it doesn't get above 50 degrees.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 92 or something like this. So
great spot to end, Adam. Thanks. Cool. I'm gonna go walk in the rain now. Skol Vikes. Big win. Talk to you next week, bub.